It's time for another WrestlePlanet news update, as a brand new NXT Champion is being crowned. New WWE Champion Big E discusses the late Brodie Lee, and we have news on a WWE star signing a new deal, as well as another expiring WWE contract. All that and more coming up in today's video, but first... Tonight we'll see the next episode of AEW Dynamite live from the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. CM Punk is set to be on guest commentary for the night and will likely continue his rivalry with Team Taz at some point in the show. Elsewhere though, there has been 8 matches and segments announced in total, including American Top Team leader Dan Lambert hosts a Tough Guy Challenge, Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley team up to Battle 2.0, and speaking of Moxley, Lance Archer and Minoru Suzuki are set to issue him a challenge. Matt Hardy will continue his rivalry with Orange Cassidy. Shawn Spears takes on Darby Allin in singles action following various interactions between the two, as well as Sting and Tully Blanchard. Layla Hirsch will wrestle Jade Cargill in a match with a huge size difference between the competitors. Adam Cole will wrestle his first match in AEW following his debut at All Out and will take on the Elite Hunter Frankie Kazarian. And Bryan Danielson addresses the AEW World Champion Kenny Omega after Bryan and the Elite clashed last week on Dynamite. It will be interesting to see if Omega vs Bryan will be made official, with the current AEW champion refusing the matchup up until this point. We are only 1 week away from the Grand Slam edition of Dynamite, which will be held from the Arthur Ashe Stadium, and will see the biggest attendance in AEW history, and this would no doubt be the perfect main event, whether it be for the title or not. Perhaps the first encounter between the two could be a non-title match, and if Bryan was to win, that could be the reason that he gets a future title match. This of course being a workaround of the ranking system. Major League Wrestling will hold their annual Opera Cup next month, and the final competitor for the tournament has now been leaked. Lee Moriarty, Bobby Fish, Calvin Tankman, TJP, Davey Richards, Matt Cross, and Tom Lawler have all been announced so far, but Fightful have now revealed that the unnamed participant will be TNA legend Alex Shelley. The winner will lift the trophy at the MLW Fightland show on October 2nd in the ECW Arena. Elsewhere on the card, MLW Champion Jacob Fatu will battle Alexander Hammerstone, who is the reigning MLW National Openweight Champion, in a champion versus champion match. AEW's newest recruit Adam Cole recently took part in an interview with Alex BS of the Asbury Park Press to promote his in-ring debut for the promotion tonight on Dynamite. In the interview, Cole talked all things All Elite, including the incredible All Out pay-per-view in which he debuted at, as well as potential dream matches and the forbidden door to New Japan. Cole feels All Out was one of the most memorable pay-per-views of all time and said, "What I do often is I put myself in the mind of a 12-year-old wrestling fan, someone who just eats, sleeps, and breathes wrestling. I think about the idea of deciding to purchase All Out on pay-per-view or deciding to buy a ticket to All Out and going and attending the show live. And I think about the show as a whole being one of the most memorable wrestling pay-per-views of all time. And of course, top to bottom, the card, all the matches delivered plus 10. And then in addition to all the surprises, I was just so stoked that I got to be a part of such a special show." Cole would go on to discuss the now open Forbidden Door, which sees talent trades between Impact Wrestling, AEW, and of course New Japan Pro Wrestling, which is something Cole is very excited to potentially be involved with. He even teased a clash between the Bullet Club and its former subgroup, the Elite, and said, "I keep going back to imagining me as a fan, thinking that two promotions could collide and have the chance to have, say, Impact wrestlers come on AEW or New Japan wrestlers come there and wrestle AEW stars, and that is just so exciting. I think there's been tension with the Bullet Club over in Japan and the Elite here in AEW. The history kind of speaks for itself, seeing the tension between the two teams and the two groups. So unfinished business, I think, would be an understatement. I think it's very possible that at some point, me and the Elite are going to have to take care of some business." Whilst many anticipated a Bullet Club versus Elite feud following a face-off between Jay White and Kenny Omega at Impact Slammiversary, nothing ever really came of it, which could be a blessing in disguise. Hopefully the clash is being saved for the larger stage of AEW or New Japan. As we discussed in a recent news video, the AEW Full Gear pay-per-view has been pushed back by 1 week to avoid a clash with the upcoming UFC 268 show in Madison Square Garden. The show will now take place on November 13th instead of November 6th. However, this has caused yet another clash as the AEW show will now take place on the same night as New Japan's Battle in the Valley show in San Jose, California. It has now been confirmed that Jon Moxley has been pulled from the New Japan event to make sure he's able to be at Full Gear, which of course suggests that he will be in action on the night. Despite this, New Japan fans will see multiple stars in attendance, including Tomohiro Ishii, New Japan Strong Champion Tom Lawler, Never Openweight Champion Jay White, and the self-proclaimed IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Will Ospreay. And quickly, just before we continue, make sure you drop a like on the video as it helps me out a lot, and make sure you subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss any upcoming wrestling content as we head, hopefully, towards 100,000 subscribers. But now, let's press play on the video. And next up, last night saw the reboot of NXT as they presented the first show with their new branding, which showcased hints at the future direction of WWE's developmental. Not only was there multiple debuts, but there was also a brand new NXT champion crowned. Debutant and son of wrestling legend Rick Steiner, who now goes by the name of Bron Breakker and was formerly known as Bronson Reich Steiner as well as Rex Steiner for like 2 days, defeated LA Knight in a surprise win. Another second-generation star debuted as Brooks Jensen, who is the son of Bull Buchanan, what a legend, teamed with Josh Briggs in a losing effort to Imperium's Marcel Bartel and Fabian Eichner. There were even more signs of a big man philosophy for the new NXT 2.0, as Von Wagner would replace Kyle O'Reilly in the NXT Championship main event. However, it was brand veteran Tommaso Ciampa who came out on top to defeat Wagner, LA Knight, and Pete Dunne to begin his second reign as champion. As for the show overall, it no doubt feels like a huge step back from the peak NXT of 3 or 4 years ago, and it's clear to see that recent reports are true that NXT is set to head in a new direction, pushing larger wrestlers. I'd also expect to see the debut of Parker Bordeaux in the coming weeks, who has once again been renamed from Gunnar Harland to simply Harland, and he very much fits the new mold. It will be interesting to see who will be the one to take the title from Ciampa, but it seems like WWE could be positioning Bron Breakker as a potential candidate. Whilst the new colourful presentation of the show is not my preference, as the old metal feel worked better, at least for me, I can see why WWE have changed it to appeal to a wider audience. We will be bringing you the NXT ratings for the show to see how the reboot affected the viewership, which will likely be in the next news video as they haven't been released just yet. But did you watch NXT 2.0, and if so, what did you think of the show? Let me know in the comments down below. And that there was a triple rhyme. And for those that missed it, Big E scored a big win this past Monday after defeating WWE Champion Bobby Lashley, successfully cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase. Many names from across the wrestling world would congratulate the new WWE Champion on social media, including stars from both WWE and AEW. WWE superstar Mustafa Ali made reference to the late Brodie Lee, who was a good friend of Big E, and said Brodie would be so happy. Dark Order member Stu Grayson also tweeted at E stating how happy Brodie would be at the championship win, and added, "I can only imagine how happy John would be. Congratulations, Big E." Big E would respond to Grayson's tweet by revealing that Brodie was in his thoughts after the match, and he said, "I couldn't stop thinking about seeing and hugging him after the match. What a tremendous man our friend was." Brodie Lee sadly passed away in December last year at a young age of 41 and was loved by fellow wrestlers as well as fans alike, and he would no doubt be proud of Big E this past Monday night, and it's a shame that he never got to see this moment. And finally, let's get to some WWE contract news, as a wrestler has signed a brand new deal and another expiring contract has been revealed. Former NXT and Tag Team Champion Pete Dunne has reportedly signed a long-term contract with the company, this according to Fightful. Dunne is said to have agreed a 3-year deal which was personally offered to him by Triple H. Dunne had signed a short extension in July after his contract was set to expire, but he is now tied down for the foreseeable future. departure. As mentioned, Dunn did take part in last night's main event on NXT, coming up short in the NXT Championship Fatal 4-Way match. Fightful have also revealed that another NXT name, Johnny Gargano, also has a contract that will be expiring soon on the reported date of December 3rd, 2021. This follows news that both Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens could be set to be free agents within the coming months, and also follows Adam Cole's departure from the company after his deal expired. WWE and Gargano are yet to enter into negotiations over a new deal, although this is expected to happen in the fall. Johnny Wrestling joined WWE in 2015 and has been a mainstay on NXT for the majority of the time, despite a brief run on the main roster. It's currently unknown if he plans on signing a new deal, but we will keep you updated should any news break. And before you go, why not check out my video where I discuss 10 wrestlers that would be perfect members of the Elite.